Long before Cosy Gaming was a hashtag, a heroic team of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was delivering the perfect portable experience on Nintendo's Game Boy.
Now you can have all the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand.
The original Game Boy was no powerhouse. Its design philosophy was famously described as lateral thinking with withered technology, basically using older tech in new, creative ways.
Guide him on the Nintendo Game Boy!
It had a modest 8-bit processor and some pretty serious memory limitations, a system built for affordability and battery life. So when Konami was tasked with bringing the fast-paced, action-packed world of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to this little handheld, they couldn't just cram the arcade game onto it. They had to reinvent and create something that understood the very soul of portable play. And they just might have created a trilogy of games that would define comfort gaming for an entire generation. Hitting shelves in North America in August of 1990, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan was the world's first taste of the Turtles on a handheld, unless you count the 1989 electronic game released by Konami. I still have my original TMNT 2 Splinter Speaks that released in 1990. Admittedly, these games were pretty bad, but thankfully the first Game Boy game fared better, but it was still incredibly simple. A side-scrolling action platformer where you walk to the right, whack the foot soldiers that pop up, and jump over the occasional obstacle. Facing off against a familiar boss at the end of each of the 5 stages. That's pretty much it. You could polish the whole thing off in under half an hour. If you spent £30 on a game today and finished it in 30 minutes, I don't think you would be screaming value for money. But that simplicity wasn't a flaw, it was its greatest feature. Fall of the Foot Clan didn't demand hours of attention. It was made for the bus ride to school, just before bed, or that spare 10 minutes waiting for dinner to be ready. The levels are short and sweet, and enemies require zero mental energy to dispatch. Controls are simple. You can jump, attack, flying kick, and can use a cool ninja-style projectile. Each of the 4 turtles is essentially a life, so if you lose one, you just tag in the next and keep on turtling. There's no complex map or mission structure, and as usual, April has been kidnapped and you've got to get her back. This is the very essence of comfort gaming. Low stress, high satisfaction. Konami didn't try to shrink a massive console experience onto a tiny cartridge. They built a game for the Game Boy, respecting your time and the hardware's limits, offering simple yet compelling fun. The character sprites are absolutely huge and stand out against the backgrounds, making the action easy to see on that tiny screen. And the music by a pre-Castlevania Michiru Yamane is a killer 8-bit version of the classic cartoon theme that instantly hits you with a wave of nostalgia. It's the perfect introduction, a game that anyone could pick up and immediately feel like a hero. Forget about a brutal challenge. This was about the pure, simple joy of being a Ninja Turtle. Anywhere, anytime.
God, I love being a turtle!
It laid the blueprint for a game that wasn't demanding but always rewarding. A year later, in 1991, Konami followed up with the sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Back from the Sewers. If the first game laid the foundation, this one was all about building on it. It took that simple, satisfying core and started adding layers of variety and ambition. resulting in a game that felt bigger and more dynamic without losing its pick-up-and-play spirit. The most obvious upgrade was the sheer variety. Back from the Sewers mixed in totally new gameplay styles to keep things from getting stale. You now have auto-scrolling skateboard sections, dodging missiles while sewer surfing, and even fighting in pseudo 3D elevator brawls that felt like a nod to the arcade games. This constant change-up was key. It kept those short burst play sessions feeling fresh and exciting. Visually, the game was a step forward. The sprites were detailed with smoother scrolling, and the backgrounds had more going on. In a seriously impressive feat for the Game Boy, it even featured digitised voice clips of the turtles shouting, "Cowabunga! Pizza time!" All of this made the world feel alive, and the whole experience a little bit more worth your money this time, even if it could still be completed in about half an hour. Back from the Sewers saw a noticeable bump in difficulty. Konami balanced this by giving the player difficulty options, letting you decide if you wanted an easy ride or a real challenge. And if you lost a life, you could now rescue a captured turtle by defeating Rex 1 at the end of each level. If Game 1 was the foundation and Game 2 was the refinement, then the final entry, 1993's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Radical Rescue, was a full-blown evolution. It was a radical rethinking of what a TMNT game and a Game Boy game could be. It blended the comfort and action of the first two games, with a structure so ahead of its time, we didn't even have a good name for it yet. Radical Rescue took a huge leap into a genre we'd later call Metroidvania. It hit the shelves in November 1993, just a few months before Super Metroid would arrive to help define the genre on consoles. And years before Castlevania Symphony of the Night made Metroidvania a household name. The game starts with you playing only as Michelangelo. His three brothers have been captured. Your goal is to explore a huge, non-linear fortress, rescue your brothers, and then use their unique abilities to unlock new parts of the map. This design was a stroke of genius for portable gaming. Donatello can climb walls, Leonardo can drill through certain floor blocks, and Raphael can tuck into his shell to squeeze through tight gaps. Every time you rescued a turtle, you got a new key that changed how you saw the entire world. A dead end from 10 minutes ago was now a new path forward with a different turtle. This ability gating created an incredibly satisfying loop of exploration and discovery. What really makes this the peak of the trilogy's comfort design is how perfectly that structure fits interrupted play. The game is one giant puzzle box, but you can chip away at it in small, manageable pieces thanks to the password system. And to keep you from getting hopelessly lost, Konami included a brilliant in-game map that marked points of interest, a design choice that dramatically lowered the mental stress and kept the adventure fun instead of frustrating. Radical Rescue is the perfect fusion of everything the trilogy was building toward. It has the immediate, satisfying action of its predecessors, but sets it inside a deeper, more rewarding framework of exploration. It proved a game could be complex and ambitious, without ever forgetting the session-based flexibility that is the hallmark of great comfort gaming. When you look at them together, the Turtles Game Boy trilogy represents a perfect arc of design. Each game in its own way championed the ideal of portable comfort. But for me, the first game is my favourite and holds the most nostalgia. I could have a bad day at work, the weather is awful, and things just aren't great. I put on Fall of the Foot Clan, and all those worries disappear, and it's 1991 all over again. A time when all that mattered was saving up enough pocket money to buy a new figure, wearing your favourite Turtles t-shirt, and rescuing April just in time for dinner. Not just to cash in on a popular franchise, they were building games that understood the license and the simple joy of handheld play, creating a trilogy that was, and still is, the epitome of portable comfort gaming. But that's just my take. These games are a huge piece of my gaming history, and I'd love to hear about yours. What are your memories of the TMNT Game Boy trilogy? And what are the games, old or new, that define comfort gaming for you? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Till next time, Crypt Dwellers.